Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. You are here on the home of the slightly above average ship review. I'm your host, KPZ. As you can see, we are starting our journey through ranked. I want to say I had 5 matches before I took my own advice. Started with the Andrea Doria, and I also played a couple of matches in the Prinz Eitzel Friedrich, if I'm remembering correctly. I probably butchered that. Needless to say, I went 2 and 3 and ended back up at the bottom of tier 9. So I took my own advice. I got into the Warspite and promptly ripped off 15 wins in a row. I probably won't do a ton of talking like I normally do because I'm not doing a ship review here. So, and it's only one-on-one. So when I have a thought, I will definitely relay it to you, but it is not going to be full of convo like my other reviews normally are. So this is just how powerful the Warspite is, how flexible it is. And I am doing a different build than I would normally do. I believe I'm using Running with Scissors as the legendary skill, because you would never get to activate Will to Rebuild. There are no teammates. And I'm using the secondary battery mod. As you can see, a lot of these fights are going to be close in, so you need all the advantage you can get. I know I talked in my Warspite video about using the spotter plane. After having some matches in the Andrea Doria, I changed my mind, because a lot of the enemies that gave me a problem in the Andrea Doria were more heavily armored battleships. Alright, here the Weavy gives us some really great broadside. 2 hits to Citadel. We also knock out a turret. I was very happy about all that. We must have hit the barbette below the turret and really done a lot of damage there in order to knock it out, I guess. But I really don't know. And here he's going to go behind the island. Can't really get a shot off here. That's okay. I feel very confident at this point in the battle that the soft skin of the Weavy, a ship I did consider using because it's got those 16-inch guns, thought maybe it could help me stand up to the Byrons of the world. But as you'll see, 15-0 in the Warspite. I probably should have started there. To be honest, I was feeling very ill before this. Earlier in the day, I started doing this about 8:30 at night. I think I'm having a side effect of COVID where I'm very susceptible to motion sickness, because I was super nauseous. I basically took a 3 or 4 hour nap before this. I don't know how to explain that, but it was pretty brutal. So here, didn't give us a lot to shoot at. We're going to back up, and as you can see, I'm turning the rear of my ship away, trying to give him less of an angle, trying to protect our Citadel. Although we are keeping all 4 guns on target, I believe that if I can get a 4 turret salvo off on a broadside ship, that will pretty much be the end. As you can see here, even though he was angling, still easy for us to punch through. However, he is making me work for it. We'll hit the damage con. We'll get that greater heal going on. I wouldn't call it a super heal. I did consider using Madden, but I just didn't think Madden would be worth it, because you're never going to get the chance to use 5 heals unless you're running away the entire time. And I did not plan on doing that. I didn't want to necessarily engage in close quarters combat, but Cunningham's base trait is a really nice base trait. Just shell grouping, accuracy on every shot. Can't really count that out or go against that. Whereas Madden, I didn't feel was as useful because I have him as an inspiration. So I'm not really losing anything except for a couple of heals, and I never would have got the chance to use them in all likelihood anyway. Clearly, since I went 15-0, I didn't need them here in the Warspite. So I would definitely recommend Cunningham with the Warspite, unless for some reason you don't have Madden. Now here he tricked me. He's going to come through the middle. We are going to take a shot here from those 16-inch guns, but he gave me broadside. Hit to Citadel, and that's win number 1. And I'm not going to cut this stuff out. I want you to see it's just an uninterrupted run through. Oh, was I using Madden? Oops. So forget everything I just said. All right, so we switched off the heal for properly meticulous, but then I'm looking at it here. I'm like, all this stuff helps heals. We got brawler. I swear I'm going to change him to Cunningham. And I'm looking at the stats here, and I'm like, yep, let's go with Cunningham. And looking back over these stats, I switch that to crisscross, and I don't need the range, so I do put on properly meticulous. Farsight, I considered it, but then I put fight fire with fire on. Flammable cannoneer, we're just going to leave that like it is. So one match with Madden, pardon me, and then I came to my senses, checking the stats here, and we're going to leave Cunningham on, if I remember correctly. If I'm not high, if I remember correctly, we're going to leave Cunningham on for the duration. So one experiment with Madden, just didn't think it was as beneficial as Cunningham for this ship. You know, Nelson, different story. But the problem with the Nelson, if they do a ranked 1v1 tier 6, the problem with the Nelson is once you give up your side, it's over. All the superheroes in the world won't help you. All right, so the Bayern, this was my nemesis when I was in the Andrea Doria. Just had too much armor for me to damage it effectively in the Andrea Doria. And the Andrea Doria didn't have the armor to stand up to the Bayern at close quarters. They were shooting the bow of the Andrea Doria a lot. Now, the Conte di Cavour and the Dante Alighieri have that armor plate that runs all the way up the side of the bow. The Andrea Doria does not. And so I quickly found that the Bayern commanders were targeting that front bow of the Andrea Doria to do a lot of damage. So that's why I ended up switching to the Warspite. Like I said I would. So here we've got the Bayern coming out here. Going to give us a pretty good angle. Got a great full salvo out. You know, we got a fair amount of overpens there. But he didn't do hardly any damage to me, so I'm okay with that. And I'm even going to turn a little bit and let him have another bite of the apple here and see what we can do. And I'm going to actually turn and turn away. And if we can just get those turrets around in time. And I don't think these are going to get past the island when they do that. So I was very cautious with the Bayern because of the problems I'd had in the Andrea Doria. I'm not necessarily worried that the Bayern will pen my armor. And I'm not worried that I can pen his armor. I just don't want to get citadeled in this ship. So that's why I turned away, maybe hoping his shells will fall short. Did I have HE on there? You also have to pardon me. I think I was using the Elite controller for the first time in a very, very, very long time. And getting the buttons configured properly and the hand joystick thing that hand triggers down on the underside of the controller kind of jacked me up. It was even worse today when I'm recording this voiceover. Even worse on Saturday, but those matches hopefully will show up in a different video. This is from Friday night. And we're just kind of cruising back here, hoping I can catch him coming around the island in time for my turrets to turn. And this is why I'm kind of turning away again. And again, he tricked me again. So, pretty good shot there. We'll use our first greater heal. You can see the secondaries are kicking in. I did activate my secondary battery charge. We'll get some good shots in there. And then because he's fired his main battery, I feel pretty comfortable turning, giving him the broadside in order to put these shells on target, which we do. Another really good hit. And he damages me again there, and that's fine. At this point, you're locked in, and I'm going to put bow on, not give him a lot to shoot at, and let my secondaries continue to work. His secondaries, I don't think, are doing a lot of damage to me, whether it's because of my angle or the type of armor he's hitting. Aim up into the superstructure there. And now I'm counting on my turrets to turn, so I'm going to speed back up to keep my bow more towards the Bayern. And those turrets slowly turning in the back. They are not going to get around in time, so I decide, you know what? Let's turn back the other way. And we're going to get some good side shots here. Damage saturated part of the ship. Probably should have realized that and aimed at the bow or the stern. And we'll shoot some more into the damage saturated part of the ship. And we finish him off, I think, by fire. I think he was on fire from our secondaries, so that's why that wasn't a close quarters expert. Rank 8's done. Alright, you can see rolling right into our rank 7 match. And by the way, thanks to all my subscribers. I think I said in the beginning I wasn't going to do a lot of talking. I'm going to rescind that. Thanks to all my subscribers. We're up to 116. Pretty awesome. If you could share this, likes, shares, subscriptions, all greatly appreciated. Comments, always appreciated. I try to respond to all of them. And if there's a video you want to see, a ship comparison, or a ship you want me to do a video on, I will be happy to do so. I do take requests, although I can't always promise it'll come out right away because I'm not a great player, so I can't produce a great game on demand. I do the best in battleships and destroyers, let's put it that way. Alright, so I don't even know if I looked and saw who my opponent was in this match. I mean, why would I do that, right? That doesn't make any sense. Or I did and I wasn't looking at the screen and forgot to see what it was. That's also highly possible. So we're just going to cruise in here. Now, an important part of strategy in these rank battles is to cap if you can. It does not play a part until much later in the sequence, but you always want to capture one of these two bases if you can, because that puts pressure on your opponent to defeat you at that point. And it also protects you in the event that you get rammed. So heading over here to where these cap circles overlap is always a good idea because you can capture two at the same time. So I don't do that in all the matches, but it is a viable strategy going forward. None of these 1v1s. I really like the 1v1s. I think the community really likes the 1v1s. I hope they will continue it for 6, 7, and legendary tier. You know, I'll talk about my picks for those tiers coming up. So we get a Tennessee here. I hate to say it, anytime I see a Tech Tree ship, I just feel I'm going to beat them. Especially in the Warspite. One of the very best ships tier for tier in the game. And we do get to fight every class of ships, so don't worry. Everything except a carrier. So again, he's giving us some really nice broadside. He does knock out a turret. Cool story, bro. That won't matter. It really won't. So here, I think if he had tried to get to my side more, he would have been a lot better off. Because my rear turrets are very slow in turning around. One of my front two turrets is knocked out. I thought if he was more aggressive here and got to my side, I could have been in real trouble. But he didn't do that. So you can see our front turrets are back online. We'll send two more in there. Secondary is going off. Tennessee doesn't have a lot of good secondaries. So I definitely have the advantage there. Set them on fire. And I want to say, I think right around here, I might decide to use my heal. Or maybe not. Maybe I was just saying, who needs to use the heal? I'm just going to kill this guy. So I'm aiming at his turrets because turnabout is fair play. We do disable one of his turrets. And even though my rear turrets turn very slowly, he's going to finally get into where I can engage him with the rear turrets. Right there. Now he sets me on fire. Now I hit the super heal. Or the greater heal. And I am backing up and trying to turn my stern away from him to lessen the angle. But here we just punch through the red basket, and he doesn't have the armor to stand up to that. All right. So as you know, rank 6, 5, and 4 require 2 wins. So let's talk about my picks for tier 6 ranked battles. Well, there's a lot more radar and sonar ships, so I would definitely use a battleship because you really don't want to get kind of caught with your pants down in a destroyer. Don't get me wrong, very tempting to recommend the Ukikaze, one of my favorite ships. But again, just don't want to get radar cruisered to death. So I would not recommend the Ukikaze. Are we going to see what our opponent ship is? Of course not. Of course we're not going to see. So even though I don't have the game on in front of me, just thinking about battleships, I would avoid the Florida. I just don't think the Florida has the armor. Hood could be a possibility. Duke of York, I don't own it, so I don't know about the Duke of York compared to the Hood. Just because British battleships have short fuse AP and greater heals, I think they're always a good choice in ranked battles. Allows you to take a little more damage before using a damage con, or tank a little bit more before using a damage con, or a repair party. I'm sorry. I'm just getting interchanged. I'm talking about heals. Okay, let's just say it that way. Ashitaka, no. No. I think there's going to be a ton of Weimars. There might also be some Munchens. Maybe it might be a viable strategy to use the Strasbourg and use your speed to be able to get cruisers out of there. I think that could be a possibility. So I would consider that. Poltava, again, if you give up your side, you're toast. So as much as I like the Poltava, not for 1v1. Yeah, so that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to think about. Now that I think about it, maybe I should buy the Duke of York. I don't know. I don't have the Duke of York. I'll have to watch some reviews. Going to be a lot of good eyes and outs. Let's put it that way. I think that's what's going to happen. A lot of German ships if they do a tier 6 1v1 ranked. All right, here's our first cruiser opponent, the Laga. Just doesn't have the armor here. If I was him, I would be running away. He's going to aggressively approach us, so I'm going to full reverse and turn in. And I think when he went broadside, that was my cue that he had launched torpedoes. So there are the torpedoes. We're going to aim a little bit ahead here. And again, do some really good damage. And at this point, I know he's coming back for more torpedoes. So I'm trying to get these rear turrets around by turning the bow of our ship, speeding back up. This is a risky play. Yes, I know it. So we're going to get one salvo off, more torpedoes in the water. We're only going to take one, I think, right there. And then glacial turret traverse. Oh, this is so not good. But we finish him off again. I think I set him on fire with my secondaries. And then he just burned out. So that was that. Cruisers at tier 6. I suppose there'll be people that really like the Boise, the Weimar. The Boise has heals, though, so that's going to be a huge advantage. Obviously, the Weimar is the OP spammer. I think this is another Bayern, if I read that correctly. I'm trying to think of other tier 6 cruisers. I just don't know enough about. Is it the Charlemagne? I think I have that. I would not recommend the Italian tier 6 premium cruiser. I think it's the Abruzzi. Yikes. No, I would not. I would not do that. Uh, I think there'll be a fair amount of Belfasts out there. I also have the Cheshire, but I don't know. I think I played it once. I don't know enough about it to comment intelligently. I don't have any tier 6 Japanese cruiser premiums. I just think tier 6 is going to be overloaded with German ships. And you'll have some American cruisers thrown in there. And of course, there'll be some people, they have a favorite country line, but I'm going to imagine it's going to be Gneisenau City, you know? And there's just not a lot of destroyers that are going to be able to counter that radar. I mean, there is no counter other than running away, so I just don't think a lot of destroyers are going to be viable at tier 6 and or tier 7, you know? I hate to say it, might have to play cruisers at tier 6 and tier 7. So tier 7 battleships, Lenin, one of my favorite ships in the game. I think you'll see a lot of Brandenburg out there because of the secondaries. I also think there might be a lot of people playing the Georgia, fast battleship. I personally would take the Georgia out of the. I think out of the three. Well, no, we'll strike that. I would take the Massachusetts because of the secondaries. So I think you'll have a lot of Massachusetts at tier 7. I think you'll have a lot of Brandenburgs at tier 7 among the battleship players. So this is kind of iffy here. I didn't mean to run into that rock. So now I'm trying to turn
Problem solved, sir.
my tail towards him to give him less of an angle. But I'm not going to do that well. So I'm going to take a ton of damage here. This is one of the ones where I felt very lucky to come out on top. So we hit him pretty hard there, which I feel thankful about. I am starting to get a little bit better angle. So, I mean, that's good. And as this continues on, secondary hits are going to continue to pile up. Look at the health at the slight advantage. All right, maybe now we're tied. But I'm about to get a full salvo off at his bow. And even though he set me on fire twice, we just did a ton of damage there. So I feel pretty good about it. Secondary's still going off. And even though he's got us on fire twice, I'm about to get a heal. And we do damage con. He does damage us again pretty good. But I'm about to get another salvo off right there. Maybe if he got a better hit. But we've got it. He didn't. There's gonna be a ton of German tier 7 ranked of every variety mines. But among the 4 battleships, you're just gonna see lots of all that stuff. You might see some Ochkovs and Kutuzovs as well. There's so many good ships at tier 7. It's gonna be hard to choose. I think you might see some people running the ZF6 as well, especially because the armor piercing on that. I know there's going to be Friesland players. I can't imagine why you would do that to yourself with no torpedo threat. Obviously, the Low Yang. I'm expecting to see some Low Yangs. I just wouldn't do that because of the radar in the game, 1v1. And I think you might see a fair amount of Missouris. If you're in a Missouri and you counter a destroyer with radar, I had forgotten about that originally when I was talking about U.S. ships. So Massachusetts, Missouri, definitely going to see those. Suzuya, definitely going to see that. Key, maybe because of the torpedoes. Lion, perhaps. Jean Bart, probably see some Jean Barts. You know, there's so many good ships at Tier 7, like I said. All the German battleships, all the all the German premiums at Tier 7, plus the Bismarck. There's a lot of ships to choose from. Roma, even though I like the Roma now that I've understood how to play it, I would not recommend the Roma for 1v1. I really wouldn't. I hate to say it. I wouldn't recommend it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see Tier 7. Legendary tier, again, I wouldn't recommend any destroyer except for the Khabarovsk. Again, that's going to be really sketchy though with all the radar out there. You know, I would imagine some very highly skilled players are still going to use the Kleber. The Kleber is super dangerous, especially if you let it get close in a 1v1. He'll just torp you and that's game over, you know, but I don't feel confident enough in my Kleber abilities to do that. As you can see here, P.E. Friedrich, a ship I used before I start this winning streak. Just doesn't have the armor up close, I don't think.
Problem solved, sir.
As you can see, I've damaged him probably... I've done as much damage to him as I had hit points left until that recent salvo. And then he's going to hit an island group. You know, that leaves him wide open to this full salvo coming right up. And, you know, that's almost it right there. So we're just going to turn here and let our secondaries do the work. You know, I'll just go ahead and say it. I don't think the Montana's a good choice for legendary ranked. Maybe that's just me. It is the, you know, if your opponent's broadside, you have a chance to do a lot of damage, great. But I just think again, you're going to see a lot of GKs. You're not going to see a lot of Conquerors. You are going to see Minotaurs. You are going to see U.S. cruisers. The Montana, to me, I don't think it's that good. I mean, not for 1v1. You're relying on broadside shots, whereas a Yamato can pen you because it's going to overpen everything. So it'd be nice if they put some more legendary ships in. Maybe a legendary Russian battleship. So hopefully that happens. You know, whether that's the Sovietsky Soyuz or some other ship. Who knows? But maybe they'll do that. Maybe we'll get a legendary Russian in time for those battles. Who knows? So that's my thought about upcoming ranked battles, if they have them. Don't know if they are, but sooner or later they'll do it. I think you'll agree that most people really enjoy the 1v1s, unless they're getting ram killed when they're winning. You know, I mean, that happened to me at Tier 3. Happened once. And I was like, I'm never letting anybody get near me again. So, you know, that is what it is. That's just part of the game. Strategery, as my good friend George Bush used to say. All right, here's an Arizona. I was a little worried about this. Arizona's a tough ship, you know, and I haven't fought one-on-one like this before. You see, he knocks out a turret. That wasn't ideal. So I'm just going to turn, not afraid to give him the broadside here. I mean, these are two World War I era dreadnought battleships. So I was really happy that I got to fight this guy. I mean, this is kind of a good test of the Warspite, you know. Two old war horses getting in the ring, going at it. Really, really enjoyed this matchup, and I respect the Arizona a lot. Although, clearly I didn't think it was good enough to use it, but I considered it. I considered using the Arizona. I considered using the Weavy. And at the end of the day, with the Weavy, it was just about the armor scheme. With the Arizona, I just like the Warspite better, and I've seen the Warspite, and I've performed in the Warspite well enough to trust it implicitly at this level, so that's why I ended up going this way. Here we turn back in, so our rear turrets again aren't in play, but we're not giving him the broadside that he is giving me. Although we are going to have to chase him all over the place to get this kill. But that's all right. I expected that. You know, again, as I said, the Arizona is a very tough ship. If you haven't gotten the Firepower Edition, don't buy a used one. Buy a brand new one in the wrapping. I don't have any link or anything to give you. Just go to Amazon. Find it on there. It's also a great gift if you want to get somebody in a World of Warships Legends. You get the Kamikaze, one of the most OP ships in the game. You get the Arizona if you're an American. Really, not a lot of ships have more respectful status given to them than the Arizona, obviously sunk during the attack on Pearl Harbor. You get the Iwaki, one of the best cruisers, especially at Tier 3 in the game. Kind of a flex between a cruiser and a destroyer. And you also get the Texas, another World War I era dreadnought. Still out there, still getting it done. I want to say in Corpus Christi. Although they do also have that historical package in the shop for the Texas. So if you haven't bought that, you know, I would buy the Firepower Edition and then buy that Texas thing again, because the one in the shop helps upkeep the Texas, and you'll just get either gold or silver for the Texas. And unless you're like me, I have the entire tech tree, save the Vittorio Veneto or whatever the Tier 7 Italian is, unlocked right now. I have the entire tree, so you can always use more silver, you know, for whatever reason. Even if it's buying those commander crates every week. Alright, so here the Arizona's going to give us a pretty good angle. We don't do a lot of damage, even though so we're not really damaging each other here. So that's what I mean when I said the Arizona's pretty tough. He's giving us an angle, and we're not able to damage him. And, I mean, this isn't an any ship. This is the Warspite, so I was pretty impressed by that. Hopefully I'm not giving him a lot to shoot at either here. And again, the hit points are very close to even. Here he's starting to give us a little bit more, sets us on fire twice.
The ship is on fire.
And we're going to get a little aggressive, move in here, let our secondaries do some work, because I know he doesn't have the secondaries to keep up with my secondaries. And we got that greater heal going. He is starting to turn away a little bit. Just trying to get these turrets online. Right now, I think one more salvo and I got him. And there it is. And we finish off the Arizona. GG to the Arizona commander. You made me earn that. Alright, so done with rank 5. Moving on to rank 4. Pretty happy about that. So yeah, I hope everybody's ranked out on the current ranked. It's over by the time you see this video. So I hope everybody ranked out, got to rank 1. You know, at the end of the day, my advice to you is stick to your strengths. You know, normally I will play destroyers, but I didn't want to run into radar ships, and I didn't want to have a destroyer v cruiser matchup where it would ruin all my progress and really frustrate me. So I've used all battleships for these 1v1s. I want to say rank 3. Maybe I talked about this in another video. I can't remember what I used for rank 3. Andrea Doria, maybe? Oh no, rank 3 I used the Nassau. Rank 4. What did I use for rank 4? It's embarrassing. I can't even remember. Was it another German ship? You'll just have to let me think about that for a little bit. I probably talked about it in another video, and I'm getting old. I can't remember what I used. I'm trying to think of all the Tier 4 premium ships. And although I've loved Russians, I wouldn't have used a Russian. Oh, Julio Cesare. Duh. Alright, so Nassau, Tier 3 ranked. Julio Cesare, Tier 4 ranked. Warspite, Tier 5 ranked. Tier 6. Who would I use? I may end up using the hood. I may end up using the hood due to the greater heal. Either that or I may join the crowd and use the Weimar. But I really don't want to do that. I may throw a curveball out there and use the Boise because of the heals. That's always a possibility. And tier 7, I'm going to use the Lenin. That's probably not wise. Maybe there's a possibility I'll roll out the Lion, do the greater heals, super heals. I hate to say it. English ships kind of have a good advantage down here. I wish I'd used the Bellerophon maybe at tier 3 to see how that went. I did fight one in the Nassau. Oh, all right. This is my first match against a Destroyer. Destroyer, don't give me broadside. Bad idea. As you can see, we took out a bunch of his modules there. And I know he's launching torpedoes. So I'm just trying to get Bow in here. And I want to say, I think we're going to cut all the way back to starboard to re-engage him. But yeah, when I saw this, I was a little bit worried that we would get just torped immediately. So I'm playing very, very cautious, trying to maintain my distance. Here's what I talked about earlier about capping the base. So he capped Alpha, but we're going to cap Bravo. And it's just a good thing to do if you can do it. Here, it's more about evening the odds, I guess. But when your opponent doesn't cap a cap circle and you do, that puts pressure on them to kill you. Because if time runs out, you win on points. Now, I didn't have any matches like that were decided by points. But I would imagine there are some people who were in matches that were decided by points. And that would really make me mad. But it's just the way of life. I thought I'm going to have to leave the cap circle here and hope he shoots at me and, get spotted. But I've got HE loaded. British have really good HE. And I'm like, is he there? Nope, he's right there. So here's the torpedoes. So we're going to eat a fair amount of them, but they don't do a ton of damage. I mean, they do, but they don't. It's not like I'm dead. I ate 3 or 4 torpedoes and I'm not dead yet. So that's okay. Even our heal didn't give us a lot, but that's his best punch right there in the match. And so he puts on his sonar. That is very quaint. I know you don't have any torpedoes, so you can put on the sonar all you want. You never should have come out from behind that island. There it is, folks. And that is the end of that guy. Now, I do fight the same people at least 2 or 3 times in this, I think. I swear, there's one guy at the end, I know I fight him twice in a row. So you might see that where I fight the same player a couple of times at different points during this trip up to rank 1. So if you're one of my opponents and you watch this video, I'm not trying to rip on you or anything. Constructive criticism, take it in the spirit in which it's offered. And believe me, I've been the subject of CC, look at this guy doing this stupid thing in videos before. So believe it or not, that's why I started making videos. So yeah, don't be embarrassed if you get killed. And if I said, oh, you shouldn't have done that, don't take it as I'm denigrating you. Use it to consider how you're making plays, And I'll tell everybody, if you watch one of Zarkun's very first videos, I want to say it's one of his very first videos. He was in a battleship. I was in I think it was a Minsk, before I knew how to play the Minsk. And I was grinding up that line. I was just so frustrated with the Minsk because I was trying to play it like a regular destroyer and didn't have any luck doing damage. And I just tried to do just a suicide torp run on him. And of course, he killed me. I didn't land a single torpedo on him. And he was like, don't do this. And then I commented, I free XP through the Minsk. Don't worry about it. And he was like, oh my, I'll have to do a video on the Minsk. So it's all good. I learned my lessons on how to play the Minsk from Zarkun. So thanks, Zarkun. Here we've got another Icarus. As you can see, he's already in secondary range, so I hit my secondary battery immediately. Of course, we have HE loaded. Another really good hit there. Knock out his rudder. And here I'm just going to come in on him, I think he was aggressive here, and maybe that was part of his strategy. But to me, unless you're getting to my side with a torp salvo, being aggressive in a destroyer versus a battleship, if you can't execute, this is going to work out badly. So here we get our reload and do some more damage there. Here come the torpedoes. We're just going to bow into them. You know, we'll take two. And he does do some pretty good damage, but there's the close quarters expert. So I think that's the maybe one more match against the destroyer, but once I did that, when I felt really confident that I was going to go right through the top, but I'm going to bite my tongue, and some matches coming up. All right, now we're ranked 3. 6 more matches to get to the top. All right, so here we are. We're facing a Graf Spee. Now, I had seen tons of Reddit posts about how the Graf Spee was just tearing it up, doing so awesome. So I had a little bit of trepidation. I really like the Graf Spee. I really haven't done that well in the Graf Spee. I try to play it like I like a pocket battleship. I slug it out, and that's why I don't do well, because I try to go toe to toe with battleships in the Graf Spee, and you can't do that. You can't do that. So, mindful of the torpedo threat, mindful of the sonar. I think if you're a really good player, a ship like the Graf Spee, I could see you romp right through this 15 in a row, no stopping. For somebody like me, you got to stick to something a little more basic. See enemy, shoot enemy, call it a day. And if you're done with ranked, if you completed rank 1, and you had a good run in a certain ship, please let me know in the comments. I love to hear about what other people are using, other people's strategy for ranked. Again, you aren't going to see this video until ranked is over. That's all well and good. But I did want to tell you guys that I predicted the Warspite would be a great pick for ranked. And this is all the proof you need to see that it was. Because we go 15-0. All right, those shots really didn't do a whole lot. I am maneuvering back and forth. I know he doesn't have torpedoes with that kind of range. I'm just trying not to give him good broadside either. As you can see, we're overpenning his armor. And I think he's going to do a fair amount of bow tanking here. And as you can see, that maybe not the best idea. But again, there isn't a whole lot of other strategy. I mean, if I'm in the Graf Spee at this moment, I'm like, I just got to get close enough to use torpedoes. You know? So you are going to have to bow tank. I am aiming, I want to say, at his bow to see if I can go through his bow. I can't, but I do set him on fire with my secondaries. And then here I start to aim, I think, above the waterline. Again, that really works out for me. Now, I do think he's launched torpedoes at this point. This is why I'm turning away. And I think I remember what happens in this match. This is going to be pretty entertaining. Normally, I wouldn't ever do this kind of thing, but in ranked, anything goes, because you're just trying to get that win. So we're going to run away from the Graf Spee. I don't want to get him to get good torpedoes off at me. So I'm just going to sit here and plunk at him with my guns. He's trying to run me down. And we're going to turn all the way around here because I think he just launched torpedoes. And I don't want any of that. Our secondaries are kicking in. We're going to give up the front turrets, put the rear turrets on him. And then he's switching around, so I know he's going to line up another torpedo shot. We dodge the first set of torpedoes, as you can see. He gives us a pretty good angle there, and we're going to take it. And look at us turn back into the boundary in order to get our turrets back on target. That is a dirty trick. All right. Even though we didn't get to use it. So I feel for you, Mr. Graf Spee, but I got to win. That's all there is to it. Anybody know any good rumors about the upcoming ship? What's the next campaign ship? What's the next premium ship? What's the next ship going to be in the shop? We're waiting on bated breath. All right, we're facing Andre Doria here. Now, I know from my previous experience, back in the beginning of the matches, I didn't show you that the Andre Doria doesn't have the armor. Doesn't have the armor. Doesn't have it. Sorry. Just a fact. Does it have good armor? Yes. Does it have armor to stand up 1v1 against a ship with really good AP? No, it does not. And I think I'm going to illustrate that for you here. And don't get me wrong, no one is a bigger fan of the Italian battleships than me. But tried them, wanted to do it with them, because that SAP quickly found out you can't. Can't do it. So let's see how well I can illustrate that here. All right, so we're just going to shoot at him from way far away. Already giving us the broadside. I like that. I like your confidence, Andre Doria, Captain. Go for it. And, you know, look, guys, I think we can all agree. I play that way a lot. I play the go for it play style. You hardly ever see the videos because I die right in the beginning of the match. But I'm willing to take a risk for a high reward in this game because it's not real, you know. So here he's going to give us some more broadside, and I'm going to turn and give him all the guns. One at a time, we'll shoot him. I want to say we hit him pretty good there. And he doesn't hit, I mean, he hits us, but he doesn't hit us hard enough to make me think, oh, I shouldn't do that. Now there he does. There he hits me hard enough to make me think, all right, let's not keep doing this full broadside business. So I hit him again back. And I think after these rear turrets go, I'm going to turn back powering on that. So there they go. He is turning a little bit. And that one right there, the Citadel hit. That's the thing about the Andre Doria. You give up a Citadel hit, and you can't make that up with those baby heals. You got a lot of heals, you don't have a ton of them. And there's another Citadel hit. That's why I stopped playing the Andre Doria, folks. Doesn't have the armor. It just doesn't. Hate to say it. All right, one more match here at rank 3. And even though this wasn't very long ago, I have no idea what ship this is. I think it might be a cruiser. Is it a cruiser? Nope. Oh, a Normandy. All right. So I'm just trying to not get shot with the Normandy's big guns. Another World War I airship, if I'm remembering correctly. I have respect for the Normandy. I just don't think the Normandy has anything other than Alpha Strike going for it. Good but not great armor profile. Good but not great guns. That's my thoughts on the Normandy. When's the last time I played the Normandy? Very long time ago. So I could be totally wrong. Feel free to correct me down below. Again, my thought here is just don't give up a Citadel hit. Just don't do that and we're good. By the way, I'm curious. I have been thinking about doing a playthrough of Ace Combat 7. I did a playthrough on my other channel, but I have way more subscribers to this channel. So if you guys are interested in seeing some Ace Combat playthrough, I can do it on Fridays. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. So here he's giving us a little bit of an angle. Didn't do a lot of damage to him. He didn't do a lot of damage to me. I think this is a battle that's better fought at close quarters. You know, he's giving me the battle profile. So I'm shooting up into the superstructure, just trying to do some damage here right off the bat. And I am shooting HE. I knock out some AA guns, I guess, which wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to set them on fire, so switch back to armor piercing, even though we were almost reloaded, I think, or halfway there. Do what you got to do in 1v1 ranked, folks. All right, so we're in the cap circle. I don't think he's going to come into it. He has given us a much better angle here, at least relatively speaking. So we will turn into his salvo, and then we'll give him some good shots here. And as you can see, right through the armor. He's given us way too much broadside. And we're not going to give him any broadside. You can knock out that turret.
Main turret
I put it
critically
right
damaged.
back online. And as you can see, we're able to hazard his salvo pretty well with the Balon profile. So here I'm turning, hoping to get a little bit in, and we'll take a little bit of damage. And we gave him a little bit of damage, but clearly not necessarily the trade-off I was hoping for. I'm going to save that heal for a little bit. Still have that B turret knocked out, so we're just going to dance with who we got here at the party. And we'll let one go. The fell short or hit the island there. And I'm just going to give him the bow again. Turret's back online. Hopefully he doesn't knock him back out. And now that he's out from behind the island, we're turning. And we're just going to shoot these as we get them. Not doing a ton of damage right now. Secondaries kick in. Put in our first greater heal. And so I'm trying to bow away to give him a bad angle so I don't get citadeled by him here. And then I want to say right here I'm going to start turning back after he shoots. And we're going to aim up a little bit because he's moving away. Those are two pretty good hits. And then we'll turn to get the front two turrets online. Again, aiming up. That wasn't as nice. And just waiting for those rear turrets to reload. Going to make him come out and overextend himself. And we're going to turn and just keep our rear turrets on target. Again, up into the superstructure. And we're going to do some damage. And I want to say here, I'm just going to reverse like this. I'm at a good angle, I think, where I can stern tank him. For the most part. And I have a huge lead in hit points. So at this point, I'm just going to stern tank this guy. And I'm capturing Bravo at the same time. So. Alright, there's the cap. Uh-oh, my battery life on my laptop is dying. Essentially, he's going to come out from behind this island. We're going to shoot him. All right, and there that is. Pardon me while I plug in my computer. All right, so that is rank 3 onto rank 2. Toughest battles at rank 2. At least the second one, I think, is a very tough battle. All right, so starting 2, we're on the big race. And I don't know who that was. Don't think I fought him before. Queen Elizabeth. Again, I just don't think it has the armor profile, the Warspite. If they're related in any way armor-wise, I'm going to be embarrassed to say that. But I saw it was the Queen Elizabeth. I'm like, the HE spamming battleship. I got this. Although I think he's going to make me work for it. So we'll see if I'm recalling correctly. But I'm not worried about penning the QE with my armor piercing in any way. Sorry about the noises. I'm obsessively flossing one of my teeth because I think I think it's going bad. Dentally, I think it's going bad in there, so we'll see what happens. Alright, so the Queen Elizabeth's going to give us a little bit to shoot at there. Full salvo going out. I'll take that damage. I got English teeth. What can I say? They're going bad. And I want to say, I like this angle. Going to shoot up a little into the superstructure here. Disable that turret. And then we're going to just turn to port and go right at him. Again, I know switching sides on the rear turrets, always a questionable strategy. But one I am not afraid to do. But then I see him turning in towards us, and I do not want to get rammed. So I think this is going to turn into a backing exercise here in a second. Those didn't do a whole lot of damage. Only one pen and one overpen. So we're going to just run into the island here. So we're just going to back up and go in full reverse. And wait for him to give us the shots. We are turning our tail a little bit, aiming at the turrets, hoping to knock them out. Don't, but we do a little bit of damage. And I am mindful that he might be trying to ram me here, so that's what all this maneuvering is about. I do not want him to ram me. And I think he is not going to ram me at this point. So we're going to zoom in here, try to get these turrets around, try to disable his turrets. We knock one out. And then we're going to shoot down into the bow here and do some more damage. Again, a huge lead in hit points. And right here I was like, can I hit this freaking island already? I hit underground obstacles all the time in a destroyer. But in this battleship, even though I'm essentially ran aground, my ship didn't stop and go forward. There we are going to go forward. So here I'm just shooting down into the ship. I mean, we're doing damage, but not a ton of damage. Might be a damage saturated section of the ship. We're just going to pile it on there and finish that one off. All right. The second to last match is the toughest match I had. And I want to give kudos to my opponent because I rematched with him in the very last match. So I'm probably not going to be able to see his gamer name. He probably doesn't watch this channel. But as someone who's also part Irish, Kilkenny, man, maybe a couple numbers after that. You gave me a tussle in this one, brother, and I appreciate that. And mother's side of my family, all from Northern Ireland. So when I saw Kilkenny, man, I'm like, all right, we're gonna get it on. We're gonna fight. By the way, if you want to watch a terrible movie with John Wayne, I think it's called The Quiet Man. I just say it's terrible because John Wayne plays John Wayne in just about every movie, you know. But I think it's set in Ireland. I don't know if he's pretending to be Irish or not. It's been a long time since I saw it, but it's entertaining at the very least. I'm trying to think who stars with him in it. Maybe Maureen O'Hara? Chick with red hair. Who knows? I've slept since then. All right, Kilkenny Man is going to give me a run for my money here. And I'm going to pull out all the stops to beat him. I'm going to tell you right now. I was not willing to lose in the Warspite. And so I did what I had to do to win. All right, Normandy. So we know it's a tough ship. We know it can hit hard. Just can't give him a lot here. And I think we'll be okay. So he's given us somewhat of a broadside. I feel really confident right now. I'm like, I'm not giving him a lot. He's giving me a lot more than I'm giving him. This is going to go great. I already beat a Normandy. It wasn't that bad. Oh, no. Oh, no, folks. Kilkenny Man is going to make me work for it. So he's going behind the island. That's okay. We're going to turn a little bit. My thought is bounce off the island, back up, get those rear turrets turned around, and I'll do the same thing to him that I did to the Queen Elizabeth. No problem. That's what I'm thinking at this moment in time. And I should have bowed in more, should have turned more to starboard, but I'm not smart. And I believe he's going to absolutely smash me. But see how I captured Bravo? That's very key. We'll get back to that in a second. So I realize I'm going to get smashed as soon as he comes around here. So I'm desperately trying to speed up and to turn away. Anything to prevent from being smashed by Kilkenny Man. We're going to shoot here. I mean, that's okay. Give us a little bit of a lead. And I should never have done this. I'm going to turn back to get my front turrets on target. I think, oh yeah, I'm going to smash him right here. Yeah. No, he's going to smash me. We're about tied in hit points right now. So I put out a couple of good salvos here. He sets me on fire. We're doing some more damage. And then I'm going to, second bad thing, run into the island. Yep. And that leaves me at the mercy of Kilkenny Man in Normandy. Next salvo smashes me again. And he's doing to me what I normally do to everybody else. He's giving me the bow. There's not a lot to shoot at there. Alright. So I'm going to shoot up into the superstructure. Not going to do a whole lot of damage. This is not good. Alright. And I'm thinking, I'm trying to turn my stern away from him. And I'm realizing I'm turning the wrong way. And then I look up and see I'm up by 50 points. Anything for a win. Up on points, ram kill, simultaneous kill, essentially. But if you have more points, you win. Kilkenny Man, I'm sorry, brother. I do what I got to do to win in these tier ranked 1v1 battles. You can say that's cheap. It still counts as a win. I was winning on points. But you probably would have killed me if I hadn't captured Bravo. And that's the honest truth. And now, much to my chagrin, the rematch. Kilkenny Man and your hero, your host, KPZ. How's this one going to go? Different map, a lot more room, a lot more space to operate. Maybe a different outcome. And I said to myself, I can't lose to Kilkenny Man. He's going to be motivated. He's going to be pissed off because I cheaply ram killed him to win the last match, backing into his ship, up on points. I can't go out like that. But I can't lose to him either because then I start over. So, not really start over, but I lose a star. You know, don't lose a star. 15 straight in the Warspite, folks. Here we go. How do I beat Kilkenny Man in the matchup, the rematch of the century? We tested each other's mettle. Neither of us made any changes. Right back into it. Mano y mano. That's how we get it done. All right. So I think he's going to give me a little bit more broadside. You can do it. Give me a little more broadside. We're shooting at the waterline. Right as he turns. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to bow tank his shots. Hate to say it, but that right there, I believe, is going to be the decisive strike that gives me the hit point advantage that I maintain throughout the rest of this encounter. So now he gets wise to my schemes and he's going bow on. So we'll aim up into the superstructure of the Normandy. A little bit of damage is better than no damage. So I'm not willing to give him much more of an angle than we got right here. And we're both in the same cap, no way to get around it. I'm going to give him more bow. He is going to give me more broadside. And so we're going to aim ahead, hoping to get those hits into the bow. We do. Almost 15,000 damage. And then we're going to turn and get these rear turrets on. If I can. And we do, but they don't do a ton of damage. But at this point, I've almost double his hit points. I feel very confident that we can carry this out. We'll hit that greater heal. We'll get this main salvo out into the breadbasket. And then we're just going to try to line up the future shot from our rear two turrets. And he's going to turn to give us a better angle. I am very appreciative. Almost over. And we're going to finish him off right here. GG to you, Kilkenny man. One of us had to win. One of us had to lose. I hope you ranked out. Alright, so that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that trip through Ranked Battles Tier 5. Rough start. Switch to the Warspite. 15 straight wins. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more slightly above average ship reviews from an average World of Warships Legends players. My name is KPZ. Thanks for joining me.